Why are Christians so against people being trans?
Let's talk about this. First of all, if you are trans, it is not sinful to be trans. You're not going to go to hell, nothing like that. So ignore the last part of what this guy has to say. But he brings up typical arguments of when a trans individual is born biologically male and they go to be female, that they're going against God's creation. I'm going to argue that they're not going against God's creation. In fact, they're living into who God created them to be, and here's why. Now, in nature, which we believe is created by God, and I would assume that this creator would believe that we see genderless animals, birds, and fish. In fact, some can even change their gender. In plant life, we see hermaphroditic plants. I mean, hundreds, if not thousands of them. Now, I'm no botanist, so you can check with them on the amount, but there's a lot. So in nature, not everything is as binary as just male and female. So if God created nature and God created us, why would we think we would be an exception to the rule of God's creation? We wouldn't be. And to think that we are as binary as just being male or female ignores the scientific fact of intersex people. And our chromosomes are not as binary as us just having X and just having Y. I want to say I read a study that said 1 in 4,500 people or something like that have X and Y chromosomes that they cannot determine if they're male or female, that they have this intermixing, that it's not as clear as day. That's biology. That's nature. Let's go a step further. Let's talk about what we can create as human beings and what God can create. As human beings, we can create a physical body. We know how to do that. We can clone, we can do test tubes, right? We can take semen and egg and put them together and create a baby. We can do that nowadays. We have that capacity. So I don't believe the physical body comes from God anymore. We have the ability to create the body, but what we cannot create is the soul. We cannot create that subconscious. I mean, we're trying to through like AI, but we cannot create what God can create. That's when the physical body, I believe, is when they are able to become a person, a living, breathing person, or they are given the soul, the subconscious. That is given from God. And because we can't create what God can create, we can't create physical bodies that always match the soul. This is why people who are transgender will be born and say, gosh, I feel like a female, but I'm given a male body, because we didn't make a body that matches the internal that God created through that soul and that spirit. And why is that? Well, we just can't create perfection. I'm a cancer survivor. I believe cancer is a mutation. We have mutations in our body over these long periods of time. Our genetics have changed. We just cannot create the perfection that God has created. So people aren't going against God's creation. In fact, they're living into exactly who God created them to be. So if you're transgender, you don't need to repent. You're actually living into who God created you to be. It takes great courage to do that. Blessings on you. Keep being you. Keep doing you.